Hey everyone, today we're gonna talk about our theming, our EDS website. Let's say we have a brand new website that we want to theme. How do we approach it, and then stuff like that. I've been doing a bit of thinking on this recently, and just trying to tie in what steps I would use to theme a brand new EDS website. And then and I would think about this in three separate steps. And today's video, we're gonna go through all three steps in lower level detail of how would I generate a theme, how would I get a theme to Google Stitch, and how would I then leverage the Stitch to go back to our EDS website. And this is a little bit of Adobe EDS focus since we want to make sure that Google Stitch, right, the themes that Google Stitch generates is EDS friendly. You should understand what the default content is. You should understand its best practice in terms of, what kind of breakpoints to give it and whatnot. So we want to make sure that Google Stitch has the best chance at successfully generating a theme and a capability for our new EDS website. Without further ado, we'll jump in. All right, first, since we are doing a bit of an experimentation, I want to launch my MLflow to make sure that we are indeed tracing. All right, I think my voice to text lost a bit of audio, so I won't be doing a bit of my video here. Yeah, so here I'm doing voice to text. It looks like we are tracing, and then we are going to indeed use a large single prompt to generate a long prompt here. Here I'm doing voice to text, and yeah, that broke my recording. But yeah, so here we have a very long prompt, which will be running for some time. One of the goals of what I've been doing decent amount with AI is to kind of give a long first prompt if I want AI to do a thing or two for me. So I generally just talk to AI using voice to speech. The original intention of this recording is to have me actually use voice to speech, but here looks like we were just doing some stuff. But long story short, we're giving AI the context of what an EDS block is, and then trying to convince AI to think about what makes sense from a theming perspective, and also leverage Google Stitch to give us the right theming. All right, here we're running it. One thing that's very cool is that AI figures out what it needs to do, and then it actually does things in parallel. This is something I noticed that Claude Opus 4.7 does quite often with the million context window. It tries to do things in parallel that's doing research so that you're not wanting for any one research to do a sequencing. So this saves quite a bit of time from a developer perspective. If you're building this out, it's able to multitask. Well, with AI, sometimes the best laid plans are just how to go with it. So it looks like we're combining steps 1 and 2 a little bit. This is still similar. So instead of pasting a prompt here, we're actually leveraging MCP to generate design. And I didn't get a chance to ask questions, so we'll see how this actually does. Okay, as it turns out, I do get the edit design. So yeah, this is where I was hoping to give it a bit of a theme. I want to say everyone likes Apple and Adobe design. Do a bit of research on their clean design and come up with a hybrid. Let's see, enter. Let's go with somewhere between Apple and Adobe. Light. Okay, so as all things AI, we're improvising on the spot. So I did get to answer some multiple choice questions. Answer multiple choice questions, and then we'll see we actually get our design. All right, here, a few minutes into the flow, we can see that we're making some color decisions. We're, trying to come up with a theme. And looks like, yeah, we're going for a hybrid theme. With this knowledge, it looks like we are going to create a Stitch project. One thing to note that this is something that I was hoping to see and looks like it's doing that. So it's really important for, we're going a little bit backwards. Usually we have design, right? Then you have variations built. But in this case, we already have a block built with content-driven development. So here we're really kind of going a little bit backwards and having a Stitch make proper designs for each one of our teaser variations as well as our general theming. All right, taking a peek on the Stitch MCP capabilities, looks like we are generating final themes. Looks like we have a merge of Adobe and Apple. And it looks like we have some teaser cards. I don't want to click around too much because MCP is doing the work here, but it is very cool that, me as not a designer, I will be lost in tools like Figma and Stitch. Here we have, AI giving some context, and AI really kind of helped me prototype something that, just wouldn't be possible before, a year ago, this wouldn't even be a thing. We had, for those of us that's been playing around with a little bit, there was a tool called Magic that did similar things, but certainly not the same level Google Stitch is doing. Giving credit where credit is due, about 10 months ago, there is a tool that's called Magic that's fairly popular back in the day that is capable of generating using MCP. It's one of the first MCP servers I experimented with 10 months ago. And yeah, here, of course, Google Stitch does things at a much higher level in terms of enabling design and presenting design. All right, we are 9 minutes into the first prompt to kind of generate everything. So looks like right now we indeed are having a bit of capabilities to fetch things down, which is fantastic. We have a Google Stitch that's looked at. If I was a designer, I would have opinions on this. But since I'm not a designer, I don't have a ton of opinions on this. But it's great to see that we're doing a bit of typography, and then we're doing a bit of design. And we have our teaser variant that was built with content-driven development, given a nice look and feel to potential use within EDS. All right, looks like Claude is asking me what I want to do for my next step. Yeah, definitely implement it now. So here, going back to our chart a little bit that we had a plan. So here we're already, even in single prompt, we define EDS. In the same single prompt via MCP, we actually, did leverage MCP. By surprise, I forgot I had the Stitch MCP server configured already on my machine at my user level. So some AI surprises are pleasant. And then I answer some multiple choice questions. I have a design I'm happy with. Again, I'm not a designer, so we're gonna go with it, at least for today's demo. And it looks like in one prompt, we're able to, it looks like AI is going to get a design, and we'll see how far AI gets with just one prompt. All right, yeah, this is where having the right skills certainly helps. So here we are seeing Adobe is launching its capabilities in terms of figuring out what needs to be done, and then figuring out it's launching localhost 3000 and getting things tested. So that's good to see. Another note to say that while AI is certainly doing things I don't expect, I just let things go with it, and maybe AI does something I don't. And this is another call out to Opus 4.7 and all the modern labs and their AI harnesses and capabilities. We are having an AI session that's running for 15 minutes nonstop with a single prompt. We are still on our first prompt, and yeah, we'll see how this goes. Yeah, this is where sometimes AI does something I don't love. So AI here is not realizing the content is actually on the server, and it's right now it's doing localized HTML. I'm gonna go with it. Certainly not what I would have done in any real production setting. However, from an experimentation perspective, capturing things in MLflow, I'm gonna let this one go. And then it looks like we are using Playwright CLI as a skill, and in terms of using Playwright, we're trying to do some local testing. All right, after 160-ish tokens, I'm guessing, and 20 minutes. Looks like we have something we may be able to test. So this is just our first prompt. Okay, so just kind of going back to my original plan. Well, we have AI design, we themed it, we think we have everything. All right, say, can you open up the teaser page locally with Chrome, and I can take a look, please? So this way, this is something that we'll see what AI can help. All right, comparing this to our detailed design, taking a look here. It looks like the theming seems good. The site looks much better. And however, it still doesn't seem to have, yeah, it still doesn't seem to have the call to detail. I do like the car shadow, like this looks quite good. But yeah, the call to action is way off. I wonder how they missed that. All right, so yeah, this is the second prompt that we're doing. So we did the voice to text, which unfortunately broke my recording. Yeah, so here we're asking Google Stitch and everyone else, hey, how do we miss the teaser? And how do we fix our call to action? And yeah, we'll put AI to work. It's quite amazing to me that the first prompt got that far. It took about 20 some minutes to run. This is certainly the example of how Claude can work a long time without a lot of human interference. All right, so after Claude ran for 10 minutes with that prompt I gave, it took some time. I think Claude realized that it did the theming correctly. However, it didn't do a lot of the teaser things as accurately as he wanted to. So he went back and then did some editing. And yeah, overall, it did get the call to action to look exactly where it needs to be for the 4 cards. And overall, it looks pretty good. Here I'm kind of talking through the overall changes, the styles, the fonts, as well as the teaser. Yeah, overall, I would say AI did a fairly good job of deploying out the changes that's wanted in Google Stitch and then making it real in EDS. All right, taking a look at our MLflow here, looks like the first one ran for 10 seconds, which is a lot longer. Yeah, so this is the one that I was taking a look at, is the first one that we did all the work. And then we asked LM to go to work with Google Stitch, and eventually it figured out what to do, and it did a bunch of research in parallel, and then eventually created a project, and then eventually created a design system, which is all good. And at some point, it did ask me a bunch of questions, which I did answer with it, and then it moved forward and did a lot more editing and stuff. So note that it did edit style.css, if I remember correctly, and as well as it understood what teaser is supposed to do and edited all that, which is also great. Yeah, and yeah, Claude is quite good at testing its own work as well. So this is an example of a Playwright CLI. And then also, AI reading what the CLI took a screenshot of and taking some action. So yeah, this is all really good stuff. Anyways, yeah, I would say this is fairly successful for a single session thing. One thing, there are 2 things I would have done differently. The first thing is definitely never to have teaser and the main capabilities be done at the same time. We really should focus on one thing time, especially the theming. It's really important to get theming correct. The second thing I would have done is, I would have probably deterministically given Stitch better instructions. If I would have known that it would have been a one prompt thing to really take us through the entirety of the flow from basically the beginning to the end, I would have been more thoughtful with the prompt. So if I were to leverage the MCP server, like I ended up doing, my prompt needed to be more thoughtful so that the whole process would have more context. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great night.